Good morning to you.
It's great to finally catch up. I've been
I
chasing.
know you've been persistent. I'm happy that we managed to make it work.
That's fantastic. It's thanks for talking to the Rockpit today, Mike. We've got a lot to
Oh,
get
it's a
through. A
pleasure.
lot,
It's a
a lot.
pleasure. Always loved the support Australia's given me.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happened since, and I'm not sure if I'm the first, but may I wish you a happy birthday because
Thank you, mate.
it
Thank
is
you very
your
much.
it is your birthday in Australia. So
Excited. I'm happy you pointed that out. Exactly. It is January 14th in Australia.
it is, it is. I first saw you play back in the day with White Lion of Rock City in 1991 with a little band called Taiketo supporting you. Uh, and it's ironic that you're both coming to Australia in the space of a
Yes, yes. I
short
was
week.
almost just pointing that out. I heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah. 35 years later, here we
Here
are.
we are.
I've you're actually one of the few artists I've actually seen on four continents. So,
Wow.
so I managed to catch you years ago. I think it was around 2003, but can't remember. I was on holiday in Bali. You did play a show there, didn't you? Yeah. And then, of course, the US, the UK, etc. So it's fantastic to have you back. Always a great show. I remember back at those days, the Corner Hotel, the SB, when you're over here. I still wear occasionally out my Mike Tramp. There was a tour green shirt that you did years ago,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The first original one. Yeah.
and it had Valhalla on the back as one of the vendors.
Yeah, no, and it's just one of those that says, man, I don't really have the tour dates yet, so let's just go Kilimanjaro, Valhalla, Amazon jungle.
Yeah, it's been wonderful listening to you over the years, and wonderful re-recordings of the White Lion songs. There are a couple of anniversaries that I did want to get out of the way, apart from your birthday. Can you believe it's an incredible 40 years since a certain album came out?
You know what? I'm in New York right now, and yesterday I drove by the lion statues where that cover was shot. So it's like, yeah, whew, 40 years.
40 years. It's a long time. What are your memories of that? I mean, you were a young kid out of Denmark coming over to the States, recording your first band album. What
Yeah, well, actually, those are kind of the days that I'm reliving now, being in New York, preparing for this tour. Exactly. I mean, this was a 21 year old Viking coming to New York with the dream of rock and roll. Nothing else mattered. Nothing else mattered. And then just going forward and beating down doors, um, jumping around on stage, looking for the people, meeting Vito Nine writing Broken Heart,
yeah.
trying to find a bass player and a drummer that they were like us. We were unsuccessful for a few years until finally James and Greg completed the band, and in '87 we recorded the Pride album.
Mm. And some great music ever since. It's also the anniversary of one of my favorite of your albums as well. And I just can't believe the time's gone so fast since I saw you on that UK tour. Nomad, which I love that album. I always
Yeah,
find
no, no, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm with you. All things like that is like when one is focusing on a new album and stuff like that, you sometimes forget about it, and you go, "Holy cow, man! It's a lot of music. It's a lot. I mean, I have like 14 solo albums. That's a lot of music, you know." And like you were mentioning, even though it's not even a an anniversary, and now you got the volume one and volume two, and now we're sort of almost just finished recording volume three, the completion of the trilogy
oh
in
wow, okay.
following in the footsteps of the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. It has to be a three.
There has to be a three, but and the depth of volume two just shows what a great catalog of music.
Well, the depth of volume three will take you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because there are a few deep cuts that I really love from those days as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the same thing, same goes for me. But the thing about doing, getting that chance to just add in a little bit more or slow down the tempo or cut out, a couple of bars to just make the song feel tighter and things like that. And get to sing it, with 35 years of knowledge of that song is also great. I can tell you the truth. I didn't think I was going to do this.
Mm.
I'd made many statements along my journey that I'm not returning to White Lion or revisiting White Lion.
So what was the impetus for it? Because I imagine, and I've obviously read all the press and we've spoken before, that you must have a sort of, not exactly a love-hate, but I guess a fluctuating relationship with the White
It
Lion.
was exactly like Motley Crue. I simply couldn't turn that money away.
That's a good answer.
No, the thing was that I couldn't run away from it. On all my solo tours, and I'm sure if we went back and when you saw me on the Nomad tour, I'm sure half the poster said White Lion.
Yeah,
Or the logo was there, or the voice of White Lion. So it for every tour that I did, it just kept creeping up, and bit by bit, Mike Tramp got pushed down along to the bottom next to the phone number of the venue, and suddenly it just said White Lion.
yeah,
So I took it to heart, and I worked with Marcus Nan, the guitar player, for a bit to find where these songs would suit me and how it felt. So we were doing some demos and singing them, and when we heard back, we said, well, this will work. This feels fat, this feels heavy, this feels sick, and it doesn't feel contrived one bit.
no, and it sounds great. I mean, what you've added and what you've left out, I guess, it just worked. I mean, so many bands have done it over the years, and I've always sort of like walked away most of the time a little bit disappointed. But I think, especially when I
You
heard,
got to do it for the right reason. I totally, I'm not going to go in and diss any bands, but I understand. I know exactly when you do it for the wrong reason, it's not going to sound for the right reason.
absolutely. So, what's it like coming back to Australia? I mean, 1999, I remember seeing you in St Kilda. I saw you at the Toff. I remember years later, North Coast Social, Hi-Fi Bar, Corner Hotel, and the Espy. I think.
Oh, you're definitely seen some of the Australian shows for sure. Well, let's see what immigration and customs say to me first, and then you know what, there isn't right now as I'm in New York. That has that effect on me because it's the birthplace of White Lion, and the original early memories are here. Melbourne will have the same effect because of the shows you just mentioned.
Yeah.
I played quite a few shows and quite a different versions and different bands and acoustic, electric, even. So yeah, it's nice to think that you can do that. And of course, I'm completely focused on delivering the goods.
Yeah.
And playing the songs and connecting with the audience.
Yeah, it'll be a fantastic night. You've given me a new experience as well over recent years, where I listened to your two Danish albums, which I've never listened to an album sung in a foreign language before, but they were great. Is any more of that coming as well? I loved it.
There's a bit of everything coming.
Fantastic.
Let's put it this way. I think that in my case, it's really just there's no problem with the creative part of songs. So, I mean, like I said, we're just finishing volume 3. I already have a new solo album sitting ready in my studio. It's really just English solo album. It's really just a matter of when is the time for that to come out, because these albums are now for the fans. They're not stuff you just fill the non-existing record stores with. So they have to be for real fans of music. And obviously without putting you on the spot, your knowledge of Mike Tramp, obviously, put you in the category of a fan of my songs, and I totally appreciate that. And the same thing, with the two albums that came about, singing in my mother tongue of Danish, actually made me fall in love with the White Lion songs once I returned after I had done that. It's kind of like I just got like a break. The wax got removed from my ears. I got a new look at it. So when I came back and suddenly we were playing Lady of the Valley, I really laid into the track and really says, wow, this feels good. But it was all because that I had that break from the songs, by doing, the Danish albums, which was so much for that time a story and a time in my life that I've never been able to revisit, because it's all sort of like mid-60s to mid-70s, a period of sort of like 10 years that those two albums are about, almost like totally biography.
Mm. Yeah, it's some wonderful melodies on there as well. I mean, it's interesting where you don't speak the language listening to an album, and you find out that it still works. I mean, music.
I'm actually sitting in the back of my head seeing if ever I have, and I would call it free time.
Yeah.
I was maybe even going to see if I was going to combine those two albums and pick 10 songs and write English lyrics to them.
That was my next question. That's interesting. You say
but the thing is, there are certain words and certain storylines that are so embedded in my childhood in Denmark, in finding a way. Am I going to just write a whole new story, or am I going to try to retell that story in English?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it takes a little bit of the edge off it as well. If you translate it, everything loses something in translation. And I think,
I mean, imagine if somebody did an album in fully Aussie lingo. I mean, all the words that no one else understands, and then say, now we're going to do an English version of it.
It could work. It could work. A friend asked me if you still look at the scores of St Kilda.
I was doing an interview early on, and was says, man, so what would be your footy team? Is like, but it would still be the team I would support.
Yeah. I had a friend. I remember one of the shows. A friend supported you with a St Kilda jersey. I can't even remember when that was, but it was one of those Australian shows. The tour so far has been getting fantastic reviews wherever you are in the world, but it seems to have gone on forever. Is there any like road weariness? What's it like touring in 2024, 2025?
Well, you're going to be very disciplined, because you got to make sort of priorities, because I mean, the band is very involved we're not a big band. We're not big road crew and stuff like that. A lot of times it's just the band, but we're also mature people that some of us have played rock and roll for almost 50 years. So obviously we're playing clubs lots of times. So suddenly now you find out a way to do it, and you throw out the unimportant parts, and you concentrate and focus on all that matters. And all that matters for us is that we're able to go on stage and perform our music in the best way we can, get a good meal, and get a good bed to sleep in.
Yes.
All that other stuff is unimportant to us. Yeah. So we don't add it.
I remember, I think it was that Nomad UK tour where there's a venue called the Snooty Fox. I don't know if you remember playing.
Man, you really do know the Mike Tramp story, man. Oh God, dude. I remember that. How the hell could anybody do that to me?
Yeah, that's
just exactly. Yeah. The club owner said that there would be a spare room upstairs, and then he changed his mind because he had somebody coming over. and then he says, but the bands usually sleep outside in an old double decker turned into a dressing room. My God. I closed my eyes, I got up like 5 a.m. and just got in my car and just drove to like a truck stop and had some tea and biscuits and just sit there and posted the story.
It was it was interesting. It was a great gig though. I love that one. Last time I saw you was actually on a Monsters of Rock cruise in 2015. So
Okay.
it has been a while, but it is great over the years to have seen you play in various different formats.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate that. So it's almost like me asking you a question. So you have seen me in all these different constellations.
Yeah,
Now, I know how I would feel with some of the artists that I like. I would think that would be great to see an artist in and out of maybe what would you would call a comfort zone, or maybe in and out of what he's known from. Now you see him do something else. So I mean, you're one of the few ones that I remember us speaking on email via that regarding the Danish albums, and it's like a German hard rock magazine reviewing the Danish album like it's a rock album.
yeah.
So you have to start by saying, Mike Tramp has taken a break from his solo albums and definitely a break from hard rock and has done this album.
Mm.
And then you can go on with, so now we're coming from a whole different view. And so obviously I like that with Springsteen. I like that with Ryan Adams and things like that. I love when they jump in and out because I already know the original one.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, for me, the worst thing is seeing a band over the years who just plays exactly the same set list in exactly the same way.
Yeah, I mean, there are people, obviously, we understand
Some
there are
people love
people
that.
and
Yeah,
fans that
yeah.
love that. But, right now we're talking about me and I need to go in and out of a lot of different stuff.
Hmm. And long may it continue. I do love the storyteller. I love the acoustic storyteller. I think the reinterpretation of the songs when he did that is fantastic. So it's going to be great to see you blow things up in a rock way. Have we got a couple of minutes left? Is that okay?
Yeah, you sure do. Yeah.
I've got a couple of questions I've got to ask you, and then I was hoping that you'd wish us a happy birthday. We first spoke to you 15 years ago, which was the very first year of the Rockpit. And you're our second most interviewed person over the years. So, ironically, Danny Vaughan of Taiketo, who supported you way back in 1991, is our most interviewed person.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say Ozzy Osbourne.
I've only spoken to Ozzy once and Geezer once, that's all. But Ozzy's in the background there. I don't know if you spotted him.
I know, mate. Nothing's, I see everything behind you.
Fantastic. Yeah, so let me ask you a question then that we ask everyone. I asked you this years ago, so I'm desperately interested to see if your answer has changed. If you could have been a
It probably
fly,
will.
if you could have been a fly on the wall for the creation of any great album, any point in the history of rock and roll, what would you love to have seen being made, just to see how the magic happened in the studio?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that this would be a Night of the Opera with Queen. Not just because it's a phenomenal album, but because they broke down all walls and took music to dimensions I hadn't heard before, and the talent of the individual musicians in the band. It would just make for a very, 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 very interesting fly on the wall view.
Yeah, I think it would have been incredible, and you'll be happy to know that things haven't changed over time. That was the album that we spoke about those 15 years ago.
Wow, wow, wow.
Let's see if your answer to this one's changed. It's the question we leave everyone with first time we speak to them. So because it's been a while, I'm going to ask you again: what is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life is finding out the meaning of life. which is you will never find out.
Exactly.
And then that's when, yeah.
Yeah. That's a great question. If I could leave you with one thing, Mike, I'd love to get you to introduce a song that we can play on the radio in the lead up to the shows in Australia. And also, if you don't mind wishing the Rockpit a happy 15th birthday, that would be great.
Which song would you want?
I'm going to leave that completely up to you. One song that you'll be playing when you come and see us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey there, folks. This is Mike Tramp from Wideline. First of all, wishing the Rockpit a happiest 15th birthday. And at the same time saying Wideline is on the way down under. Here is Out with the Boys.
Nice choice, Mike. Thank you so much. It'd be wonderful to see you in a couple of weeks. Have a safe trip and enjoy the rest of your time in New York.
Thanks a lot for all the support you have given me and the band and all my albums through the many years. Let's continue this way.
And thank you so much for the music, mate. It's been,
Thank you, guys.
been
Thank
a
you.
wonderful journey so far.
You got it. Looking forward to seeing you in Melbourne.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.